There's a particular kind of electricity that washes over a community when rumors begin to swirl about a beloved, dormant franchise rising from the ashes. A mixture of nostalgia, hope, skepticism, and is this actually real? That's exactly the vibe around the whispers that Prototype, the shapeshifting open-world action franchise that once let players tear through New York as a lethal bioweapon, might finally be getting a third-person installment. Fans have been actually waiting a very long time. It's now more than a decade since Prototype 2 launched in 2012, and the series has remained silent in terms of new games ever since. But in the last year, multiple leaks and reports have reignited conversation that Prototype 3 could actually be in the works. Whether you grew up tearing through Manhattan's skyline as Alex Mercer, consumed or feared every time you morphed in with tank and obliterated a Blackwatch squad, or you only discovered the originals through the backward compatibility of remasters, the idea of return carries weight. It's not just nostalgia talk, and it's the recognition that the Prototype formula, wild as it was, tapped into something unique. Pure, unrestrained power fused with survival mystery and open-world chaos. Now, the rumors around Prototype 3 stem from several sources, and they twist together like the very DNA that makes the series distinctive. Back in 2025, a report from a Reddit user claiming to be a part of an Activision test group sparked a lot of excitement. That post suggests that a new Prototype title might be in development alongside other Activision projects, even if at first the credibility was uncertain. More recently, a fresh leak claimed the focus group testing for Prototype 3 has already begun, and that players would return to a familiar setting in New York City, with Alex Mercer once again at the center of the story. These rumors are fascinating, of course, because they aren't coming from a single throwaway source. They have appeared in multiple corners of the internet over the past year. One source even suggested that internal polls at Activision gauge interest in reviving Alex Mercer's story, tying those claims to confirmed leaks about other titles. The logic goes like this. If other leaks in the same data stream prove accurate, perhaps this one will do too. And though nothing has been officially confirmed by Activision or Microsoft, who now owns Activision Blizzard by the way, the chatter is persistent. And persistent chatter in the games world often means something is stirring beneath the surface. But before the hype train completely leaves the station, it's crucial to acknowledge the counterpoints. Not every rumor is destined to become reality, Recently, a credible industry insider explicitly denied that any new Prototype project is in development, calling the claims misinformation and dismissing them right out of the park. That kind of outright denial from an insider cuts through some of the noise and reminds fans that speculation, even informed speculation, isn't the same as confirmation. So where does this leave us? In a space that's ripe for both excitement and caution. The Prototype series feels like perfectly positioned for a comeback on several fronts. Open world games are more popular than ever now, and players crave experiences where powers feel visceral and gameplay is visceral in equal measure. The original Prototype games delivered a sensation of parkour meets superhuman combat that few titles have matched ever since. Running up skyscrapers, swinging massive tendrils, ripping through hordes of enemies with fluid morphling powers. That was a core draw, and it still looks incredible through a modern lens. There were also signs that the franchise could be primed for a remaster or reboot first, which is a roadmap that's become common for dormant properties. Recent updates to the Steam version of the original Prototype included massive changes to credits and added test maps, leading data miners to hypothesize that a remaster might be on the way, potentially handled by a studio like Iron Galaxy, which is known for reviving classic franchises. That's a kind of incremental return that could both reignite interest and lay the groundwork for something bigger, like a full third entry actually. If Prototype 3 does eventually arrive, fans have already begun shaping their dreams around it. Discussing on forums and Reddit threads, envision returning to New York with Alex Mercer, possibly picking up strands from where the last game left off, especially considering Mercer's transformation into a twisted antagonist in Prototype 2. Some ignite a narrative that reconciles Mercer's survival, resurrects him with new skates, or even expands the universe beyond this single city to a global open world. And there's also talk about how modern game design could elevate the prototype formula. Players definitely want smoother traversal, deeper combat combos, and systems that make shapeshifting feel even more integrated and strategic. One popular idea is a mechanic allowing you to morph into unlocked characters on demand, not just NPC disguises, turning every encounter into a potential tactical choice. Beyond gameplay speculation, there's also community desire for co-op. Like, imagine in a world where friends tear through missions side by side, or even narrative layers where choices affect how your powers evolve. These are the kind of ideas that reflect how gaming expectations have shifted in the decade since the last prototype. Multiplayer experiences are almost expected now. Fluid movement systems are standard in open world games, and players tend to crave not just spectacle but depth. Part of what kept Prototype 3 in rumor territory is precisely that long silence. After 2 centuries, the first in 2009 and the second in 2012, Radical Entertainment's franchise went quiet. The studio itself effectively disbanded, and Activision has since focused on giant established properties with no official announcement after years of rumors. Fan fatigue has understandably set in. Some fans actually joke that they've heard Prototype 3 is coming for over a decade, and until an official reveal drops, of course, skepticism is the default response here. Still, however, that does not diminish the passion behind the hope. Even amidst denial or uncertainty, the series inspires a potent mix of nostalgia and possibility, and sometimes that's when the best things happen, when a community keeps a dream alive long enough that developers see the opportunity not just for a reboot, but for a reimagined experience that blends the best of old and new. Whether Prototype 3 turns out to be a full sequel, a complete reboot, a remaster leading into a bigger plan, or simply another round of internet speculations, the fact that it's being discussed so frequently speaks volumes about the legacy of the series. Fans want more than just a follow-up. They want something that honors what made the original special while bringing the visceral power fantasy into a modern context. In a gaming landscape increasingly open to revivals, where franchises long thought dormant are finding new life through remakes, remasters, and new entries, the possibility of Prototype 3 feels less like wishful thinking and more like unfinished business. Activision and Microsoft now have both the infrastructure and motive to leverage legacy IPs, and with the right team behind it, a third Prototype game could redefine what a superhero open world game looks like in 2026. Whether Prototype 3 eventually emerges from rumor into reality remains to be seen, but the journey of anticipation itself, fueled by leaks, community evolution, dreams of returning to that chaotic, shape-shifting fun, illustrates how powerful a franchise's memory can be and how strong the hunger remains for its return.